Hi, my name is Nicholas Cohen. I'm a board-certified family physician with over a decade of clinical practice, and I specialize in longevity. I'm the founder of HealthScore, the ultimate longevity plan, and today I'm introducing the HealthScore Longevity Report. In this, our first edition of the HealthScore Longevity Report, we're focused on a study of olive oil. Each week, I'll review the top-tier, peer-reviewed medical literature for a study on longevity. In this report, I will summarize the key findings of the study. I'll place those findings in the context of what's already known about longevity. I'll provide you some tips for adopting the recommendations, whatever they may be, coming out of the study, and I'll tell you what I personally do. I just want to create a foundation for your confidence in this report. I'm only focused on journals with an impact factor of 10 or greater. A journal's impact factor is the number of times an average article in that journal is cited over a given year. Only about 2% of journals, less than 2% of journals, achieve an impact factor of 10 or greater, and those are considered excellent journals. When I do my weekly literature review, I only look at those top-tier impact factor of 10 or greater medical journals. This week, the study is on olive oil. It comes out of the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. The study looked at over 90,000 adults in the U.S. followed for 28 years. This is the Nurses' Health Study and the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study. The study questioned through mailed questionnaires each of the participants every 4 years on their diet. The study found that the more olive oil a person consumed over those 28 years, the less likely they were to die during that follow-up period. If they consumed 2 grams a day, which is a little less than a teaspoon, they had a 12% lower risk of mortality compared to someone who didn't consume any olive oil. If they had 6 grams, which is about a teaspoon, they had a 14% lower risk of mortality. And the group that consumed the most, the top quartile, consumed 3 teaspoons, about 14 grams a day, and they had a 19% lower risk of mortality. So the takeaway was that consuming 3 teaspoons of olive oil daily resulted in a 19% reduction in all-cause mortality. Another finding from this study was that substituting olive oil for margarine, butter, mayonnaise, or another dairy fat had the same effect on reducing risk of mortality. Where does this study fit in what's already known about olive oil? Olive oil was studied in the Intermittent trial, which occurred in Spain. It was over 9,000 adults, and it showed that there was a 31% reduction in cardiovascular events for those in the top quartile of olive oil consumption compared to those in the lowest. Now in Spain, the consumption of olive oil is about 4 to 5 times greater for the average person than in the US. So the lowest quartile of olive oil consumption was about 20 grams, and the highest was about 50 grams. That's about 1 tablespoon compared to 3 tablespoons. And for those consuming 3 tablespoons a day, the risk of cardiovascular disease events was 31% lower. In the study that we are reviewing today, when you compared no olive oil to 3 teaspoons, you had a 19% reduction in mortality. From the Intermittent study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, when you compared 4 teaspoons of olive oil to 9 teaspoons or 3 tablespoons, you had a 31% reduction in cardiovascular disease events. So what this tells us is that the US study showed the benefit of olive oil when you compare a little to nothing. This study showed the benefit when you compared quite a lot to even more. And it also showed that only extra virgin olive oil had an impact on cardiovascular disease events, not common olive oil. So what is the mechanism behind the effect, the impact of olive oil? Well, there are many theories about why olive oil is so good for us. It contains monounsaturated fats, phenols, lipid derivatives, And the mechanism whereby those compounds have their health benefit is everything from less susceptibility to oxidation, improving lipid profile, lowering blood pressure. I want to focus on the effect of the phenols, the antioxidants in extra virgin olive oil. During normal cell processes, free radicals are created. Free radicals also come from the environment, from tobacco smoke, from chemicals in the environment, but from normal cell processes as well. So free radicals exist in our bodies, whether we want them or not, and whether we try to have them or not. And a free radical is essentially when there's an electron missing from the outer shell of a molecule. It makes this molecule very unstable, and the molecule wants nothing more than to find another electron. When a free radical attacks a cell looking for an electron, it damages that cell, and that's called free radical damage or oxidative stress. Antioxidants are important because they will willingly donate an electron to the free radical so it doesn't go around damaging cells and causing oxidative stress. And it turns out that extra virgin olive oil is very high in phenols or antioxidants. So it's a potent antioxidant that reduces free radical damage and prevents oxidative stress in the cells. And oxidative stress leads to inflammation. And inflammation is responsible for a whole host of diseases. In that study, in the current study we're evaluating, not only was mortality reduced from all cause, but cancer mortality, neurodegenerative like Alzheimer's mortality, and respiratory disease mortality. So inflammation was most likely the common pathway for all of those disease processes to be prevented. And you can see that inflammation is responsible for a whole host of conditions. So my key takeaways are consume olive oil daily. And my preference is for extra virgin olive oil, higher in antioxidants, the phenols. Consume at least 10 grams a day, 2 teaspoons. That's if you're taking this study, current study. But if you're looking at the broader literature on olive oil, I would actually suggest as much as 50 grams or 3 tablespoons, 9 teaspoons. And then rather than consuming margarine, mayonnaise, butter, and other dairy fat, opt for olive oil. What I personally do, every day I have a salad. I prepare it with 1 tablespoon or 3 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil. Every night I prepare an air fry, which includes 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil that I mix in the bowl before I add to the air fryer. I air fry at 390 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below the burning point of extra virgin olive oil. And that's important if you want to preserve the antioxidant potency of olive oil. And then I'll add another tablespoon of olive oil on top when I'm about to serve the dinner. So I total 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, about 50 grams each day. Thanks for tuning in to the first edition of the Longevity Report. Tune in next week for my review of an article on intermittent fasting for weight loss. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to the Longevity Report using the link below. Thanks.